Hello everyone, you're most welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for always following me, liking, commenting, and always following to see more updates. Today we have come this far. Today we are also going to have something new that we are going to learn about information literacy. And to be so specific, today we are going to look at citations. How do we cite? What do we cite? Specifically the citation basics in particular. So here we go. Presentation still is being brought to you by Search Anita. We are looking at in-text citations, reference lists, and why we cite. Presented to you by Search Anita, Gulu University. There we go. Learning objectives. By the end of this video, I expect most of you to understand why citations are essential. We should be able to identify why, to differentiate between in-text citation and reference lists, and we shall be able to recognize common citation sites like APA, MLA. We shall be able to create basic citations correctly as well. So, not to waste a lot of time, we go to the reasons as to why we cite. The main reasons as to why we cite are three. The three main reasons as to why we cite are: we give credit, acknowledge the work of other researchers. Citing also helps readers to allow others to find their sources. Like if you cite, you enable the people who are going to read to also go look for that source so that they can widen their understanding about it. It shows your research, demonstrate you've done the reading. Your research work always demonstrate that you have done the reading, so that you have not just copied the work and pasted it. What happens if you don't cite? There always happens to be plagiarism. Plagiarism, remember I told you plagiarism is taking one's work directly without changing the meaning or the letters of it. So plagiarism which can lead to academic dishonest. We can use credibility and we can possibly cause failure, damage of academic reputations, as well as the honesty of the workplace. Some of the parts of every citation. Yes, speaking of the two parts of every citation. The part one is in-text citation. This we cite inside your paper, or we brief identification for the source cited. For example, Smith 2024. That's citing in the middle. And then we have the part two of the reference list, whereby it's at the end of the paper. For example, full details have been given up, but then down you come and cite by this and this. Full details for every source. For example, the rule of citation is every in-text citation must have a matching reference list entry. We shall talk about the references as well as we move on. We have the EAP citation style that is in the 7th edition. This is the latest, commonly used in philosophy, education, business, nursing, and social sciences. In-text citation formats, these are the parentheticals. You give the author, you put a comma and mention the year. For example, Smith, comma, and then you write the year, like without we have cited it here. And in a narrative, it's when you give the author and then you bracket the year. For example, if we said, and actually it's always at the beginning. So that's when you find and say Smith, brackets 2024, found this, and this. So in the same way, we also have the direct quote. This is where you pick something directly as the author said it, and then you reference it or you cite it. For example, information literacy is essential. Who said it? It was said by Smith, of which year? 2024. Which page number? The page and the page number. When there are two authors, it is when you use Smith and then you include the truncations that which I spoke about, the Boolean operators that you spoke about, which is of this is and. So Smith and the other person, comma, the year, or Smith and Jones, and then in brackets, you write the year. 3 or more authors, we use at L. You mention the name of one author, and then you put at L, and then the year. That's how we say it for 3 and more authors. APA reference lists examples. For example, in a journal article, you write whereby you rate the author A, comma, A.A, comma, author B, point B, and author C.C, then the year. The title of the article or journal, title, volume, issue, and page number, the way we say. And then, for example, we have this one, Himani J, Atieno P, and Mwanji S 2024, Mobile Money Adaptation in Rural Kenya, that is the place. African Journal of Finance, that is where the article is found. This is the page number, and then this is the reference from this page to this page. So the book and everything. So basically, that's what I can tell you about it, and even the publisher. When we look at MLA style, that's the 9th edition, which is commonly used in literature, language, and humanities, whereby in text citation format, we type format, for example, parental, where we write the author, the page, for example, Smith plus the page. Narrative, where we write the page and then the author. Then the two authors, that is Smith and John, 15, the page. The 15 is the page. Nearby, if there are 3, it is Smith at L, the page 15. No page numbers. Use paragraph numbers like para 3 or session headings. When do we cite? When to cite in particular? We always cite when direct quotations. We always say when we are paraphrasing ideas, status and data, images and graphs. No need to, when we don't need to say it, it is common language. Nairobi is capital city of Kenya. There we don't need to say it because it's layman language, common. And your own ideas, when in doubt, that's when we also don't say it. We don't say it when there is doubt of anything. What expectation do I expect from you after this video? I expect to say it to give credit and avoid plagiarism. Part 2, it is in text plus reference list. APA, author and the year for sciences. MLA, it is author page for humanities. When in doubt, cite. Thank you so much for following. Please do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe.